this has been in the fridge, so it's nice and cool. We like that. That's Straporamen, I just call it Star for the most part. This is not like a craft beer. It's not something unknown. It's a fairly more common one, but I haven't had it in a while. So I thought I'd try it and have it again, see if I can like compare it to some of the stuff we've had. And yeah, just try it out. So there you go, there's the bottle itself. It's very, very nice. It is a green sort of bottle, which means I'm hoping it won't have that metallic taste, because apparently that's bad. But there is a bit of flavour text, so we'll read that. We'll open it up and get straight into it. So, brewed since 1869. Nice. When two visionary brewmasters set out to create a beer that would be better than the rest. Displaying true craftsmanship, Straporamen is brewed with passion, using the finest ingredients, including premium Czech hops, and embodies the spirit of Prague in every sip. Very nice. So it's a 5% drink. Yeah, the Straporamen bottles, I mean, it's nice. I like these kind of bottles. And it looks pretty. The labelling's nice. Branding wise, it's pretty nice. I'm guessing that's a skyline of like ye old Prague. Probably just Prague, to be honest. But anyway, before we get into the drinking, I have got a few nuts in this bowl. They are, what are they called? KP, original salted peanuts. I've got a few more in there, but this is mostly the end. Just thought we'd have some bar snacks. So put that down. So without any further ado, let's get it open. Alright, the drink is open. Here is the cap. Don't know how well you'll be able to see it because the focus just isn't not great for this sort of thing. Oh, look at that. Pretty nice cap, if you ask me. There you go. That's a little bit bent, obviously, but we'll keep that to the side so I can use it. Or I can keep it even. But here we go, the drink is open. Off the bat. No metallic smell. But I can really, really smell the hops. It smells like a sort of like lively, cold, hoppy lager smell. Oh, it's time for the best bit. That is just a hefty pour, that one. There we go, keep it in the background. So right off the bat, super hoppy. It's got a slight, sort of like malted, like I can pick up on the malt in it. Right off the smell, it's quite strong. The head is looking pretty good. It's nice and foamy. It's kept alright. Very much like every other sort of like beer or lager I get in a bottle here. It's not super lively, which means the head will probably disappear in a minute. But otherwise, it's looking good. It's pretty strong, kind of like golden colour. It's got a slight brown tinge to it, but like more like a dark amber, I guess. But that's the smell. That's the appearance. It smells pleasant and inviting. Let's taste. No metallic taste, that's a good start. Yeah. Super hoppy, but like not overwhelmingly so. Let's get a few nuts as well, just to kick things off with them. Oh. Nice. I need to have more like bar snacks for these videos. I've had them for a couple of drink reviews and I just forget to use them. nicely with this drink. Well, I've only had the Straporamen a few times. I really apologise if I'm butchering the name, but that's how I say it. So, unfortunately, I can't correct myself on that now. I should have researched it beforehand. There you go, should have done it. I didn't think about it. Yeah, it's like a sharp hoppiness, but it's not like thick like it might be with an ale. It's not super heavy, but you kind of got that bitter hoppy taste to it when you sip it, which means it's not quite as light as I would say other ones are. Interestingly, it's not as dry as I expected it to be. When I see the foam is there, like, it's not really there anymore, but it's lasted longer than the other ones have. I'm always having to move my hair because it kind of pulls forward and then it just sits annoyingly. It works so well with the nuts. This is a deadly combo, this. Yeah, because that kind of like almost sharp taste is dulled by the nuts and it works well. I can see why they would be sold as bar food. I've never really thought about it before. Nice. Yeah, it's not dry. It doesn't leave like a coating, like a sort of like tacky feeling in the mouth. It's got a nice mouth feel. I've been doing a bit of research, as you might be able to tell, on doing drink reviews and talking about beers. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on it by any means, or even a novice. I'm a layman that's learned a few terms. It might have been the lighting with the colour. No, it's still got kind of what I would say a darker amber. It's hard to really tell, because it's not really golden, it is more like amber, I would say. These nuts are great. What's the best beer you've ever drunk? It could be something quite popular. No judgment there. It could be Carling. I somehow doubt it would be Carling, but it could be Carling. Or like a craft beer, something local. That'd be nice to know. I'm trying to like judge the taste with the nuts a little bit. It's definitely got a different taste when you have nuts, because it sort of like cancels out some of the stronger elements, but it's actually quite pleasant. I think I've said about a million times now, it does pair very well. is really, really nice. I actually remember not liking Straporamen as much as this. I think maybe when you've got a full pint of it, and it's out of on draft, out of a tap. Maybe it's just not as nice. Hard to tell. Because the thing is, the storage of a beer can impact its flavour, you know. To certain degrees, I guess not a massive amount, but like what I was reading, I think this might have been during the video last time, was that storing beer in green bottles, if they're exposed to too much light, green bottles let in more light than other ones, and so it can cause certain compounds to break down or to or I think it's the yeast to continue to break. I actually can't remember now. I remember there was a thing about it, and the same with like if the pipes that you're using to brew get slightly rusty, it can put more iron into the drink. There was something about the yeast, I just don't remember what it was. But it can influence the taste, because the light is like energy that they need to react, I think. I don't know, I can't really remember. It's more photosynthesis, I think, but I mean, animals need light as well to function. Most do. But yeah, I don't know the exact science on it, but I remember reading that's what it was. So if you know, then let me know. This drink review series is going to culminate in me brewing my own drinks. I'm going to end up poisoning myself. I actually used to watch people brew beer, and I was determined that I wanted to do it, and I still do. I still do want to do it. So hopefully that'll be the case. In my Christmas video, my Christmas haul, I showed my mixing set, like cocktail mixing set that my partner got me that Kay got, which I've used, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I like mixology and brewing, you know. It's like a hobby that I would like to pursue. So we'll see. I'd actually love to run my own bar, but it would be themed. I'd want to run like a tavern. It sounds kind of cringe, but I think that would be the culmination for me. It's a tavern slash sort of like nerd pub, I guess, but themed like a fantasy tavern. If any of you have live in London, you might know of Escape, which is in Stratford. That actually used to be my local back in the day. Not that we went there very often. It's a real shame. No, you know, to be fair. Half the year was, you know, the big sea. Oh, some creaking in the background. Yeah, half the year was, you know, well, you all know what it is, because it was in 2020. So most of the time of that year, it was actually closed, which was a real shame. But I wish we'd gone there more often when that wasn't, when we could go out, so to speak. I'm trying to avoid saying certain words because I know that the algorithm can sort of mess with things if certain words are said in the video, so like a sort of like a board game and video game place, sort of like a nerd, but I don't know how else to describe it. But Escape in London is a really good example of that, which is a pub which is themed around like board games and gaming. So there's an Xbox, there's a PlayStation, there's a whole bunch of like old consoles like NES and Sega consoles, GameCube, which are there. And then there's like a library of board games. You can literally just walk up, take one back to your table and play it. So I'd love to run something that's like that, but it's a pub/bar. And within there, I'd love to have like a back room, which is for streaming. It's like stream a D&D game and company property, and then use it as you can argue that it is marketing for the business to do this game. Like every week, run a session of it is basically marketing, and like put the deductions out of the. I mean, because it would be right. You could argue it's a marketing campaign. It's not fraud if it actually is the thing, you know. So yeah, I'd love to do that. So if there are any other British people that like that idea, hit me up. You know, I'm not getting any younger. That would be fun, because I like mixing drinks, like, kind of like, I don't know, alcohol, but in like a good way, not like I'm obsessed. Because I enjoyed doing my bar work when I was doing it back in the day. I enjoyed doing it. Cough, cough, cough. Yeah, I enjoyed doing my bar work. But, I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with these nuts right now. I've lost all train of thought. I apologise. What was I saying? I enjoy doing my bar work and would like to do it as my own business rather than the hest of a boss. I've always been fiercely determined to be self-employed, to not be at the behest of an employer. I just don't want to do it. It's not me. You know. To the government and taxes, maybe that's fine, that's fair. You can't get out of that. But not to an employer. So there you go. I just think it'd be quite fun to do something like that. And it would just have like half of it would just be like a normal bar. Like you can't take certain stuff out into the separate bar area. And then there's like a sort of like a nerd area. That has like sort of the board games and some other things, maybe some D&D tables or something like that. Places to do Warhammer and have a drink. The problem is spacing and like investment, because when it comes to stuff like that, you have to really invest, and you've got to understand that ultimately someone's going to steal a board game, someone's going to steal stuff, because people are like that, unfortunately. So there you go. Something to think about. But at the same time, I want like an area that is for casual drinkers, like to be your local pub, but themed. Like I'd love cocktails that are themed after sort of fantasy things. Sort of. I don't know. I can't really think of an example off the top of my head. But it might be a drink called like Red Dragon's Breath or something like that, and it's a cocktail that is like So each table would have a theme, and there was a thing of like if your group was sat at a certain table, that you would get a discount on a particular drink on the menu. So like for example, if you were seated at the Godfather table, which the sort of scenery would actually let's step away from that because this is not a good example. If you were sat like the Jurassic Park table, the theming might be a bunch of dinosaur bones around you. It might have like some warning signs and stuff. And if you're at that table, there might be a drink called I don't know. I used to have this all figured out, and I've just completely forgotten all of it. Just trying to think of a memorable quote. Maybe it'll be like "Life Finds a Way" is the name of the drink, and if you're sat at that table, you'll get a discount on that drink, and I think that's pretty cool. Like the idea that depending on what table you're sat at, you get a certain drink discounted. Now, would there be people that would abuse that and sit at multiple tables and get drinks? Probably. But that's why it's a nice idea in theory. In practice, maybe not quite so much. But I like the idea of it, and I've always wanted to own a bar. I think that's kind of my end game. I don't have a lot of aspirations. When I was a lot younger, I wanted to be an actor, but I think life has just kind of punched me in the face enough where I'm like, that's probably never going to happen. And it's kind of sad because, I don't really brag about a lot of things, but I'm very good at acting, I think, personally. And I have quite a decent enough experience at it, or in it, from a younger enough age, that I think I am pretty good at a range of different mediums within that, or different styles, perhaps. But I just kind of gave it up. It's kind of sad, but I did, and I'm kind of at an age now where I don't think there's much of a chance of coming back from that. That said, I am really determined to do voice acting. I just really want to do it. I'm not in a position right now to really jump into that. If I was going to do it, I'd have to do it sort of in studio. I wouldn't be able to have a studio at home. At least not right now. Maybe in the future that will change. So I don't know how badly that would affect. But if by any chance you're a casting director or need a voice actor, hit me up, Because I think I'm pretty good. I'm actually working on a demo right now. It's not like a proper demo that you would actually send, but like sort of like an example of work. So I've taken clips from my D&D game and some other voice acting recordings I've done, and I'm going to edit them together. I've been working on it for a very long time. I just had never. I go through periods of like working on it and then stopping. But I really should finish it off. Anyway, I digress. I need to finish that off, but I've been working on that. And I would say that acting is probably one of my biggest strengths. I mean, that's literally like my selling point for my D&D games. So if you're a new subscriber and are unaware, my profession, my career is that I run games of Dungeons and Dragons professionally, and my selling point is the roleplay element for the most part. The storytelling and the roleplay, sort of voice acted NPCs and engaging immersive stories and voice acting. So I would like to think that I'm pretty good at acting if I can do that, if that's my selling point. But you know, I would love to do more than just that. You know, I think I could die happy if I got a guest role on critical role, which I never see happening in my life. But yeah, if I got a guest star on critical role, that would be pretty cool. I can't lie. But I just love voice acting. I love doing it, like not really commercial, but like character stuff. Though, you know, commercial is the bread and butter. But that is something that I'm thinking of getting into a bit more. Who knows? Maybe I'm working on some stuff by the time that you see this video. Maybe in the far future, maybe there's a stranger checking out this video because they've seen my name in a video game. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt it, but that would be pretty cool. But man, would that be so much fun? You know, I think everyone has at least one thing that they are good at, and you know, by lack of a better phrase, like put on this earth for. No, I'm not spiritual. I'm not religious. But at the same time, there's like part of me that's like, everyone has a reason for being here, and you've got to find that reason. And that might not be like a divine reason to have been put on this earth, but like, you have something that you're good at, and you've been put here, whether by a divine being or fate, or consequence, to do that good thing to embellish society. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm a scientist that is going to cure a rare disease. It could just be, you know, I'm here to teach students, which is a pretty good one, to be honest. Maybe you're really, really passionate and good at teaching, and you are going to raise the next generation of humans. But it might be something like, I'm really good at writing books, and you are going to make the world a better place by writing and giving stories that are going to bring creativity and imagination to younger generations, that's going to see through time. It's going to be a legacy for you. And those stories, well, even if they don't like become bestsellers, and they're not, you know, they're not going to be like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings in their popularity, they might really, really powerfully impact other group of people. And maybe your story gives inspiration to someone who goes on to make the most amazing movie of all time, because they were inspired by stories, or inspired to make stories by your writing. You know, you never know the impact you're going to have on other people. And so I think even if you're not necessarily like going to be famous from what you do, what you contribute through your skills can impact. And that doesn't even just mean creatively. Maybe you're just like really, really good at building houses, I don't know, or architecture, or like building houses, as I said. You put in your time and effort into doing construction might give the chance for someone to raise a family that they might not have had beforehand, and the children that they give birth to and raise might be the ones to go on to cure rare diseases, and they exist simply because you did that work. Everyone has an impact on the future, you know, and often it's that butterfly effect. You don't know how you're going to influence the world or how it's going to impact it, because you don't always see those effects. But every choice you make impacts the world, and you should always move forward with that knowledge, and consider that whenever you make decisions. I guess, like, is the thing you're about to do or say gonna make the world a better place? just was a bit of a waffle. Jeez, that really was a bit of a waffle. Alright, I've got a bit more peanut stuff to pour out. I'm gonna pour these into the bowl because I might as well finish them off. There's not a great deal left. There we go, not many left. So, whoops. So, now that ramble is out the way. Yeah, really enjoying this drink. It's a little bit lighter, but I'm not angling it towards something dark. So I might have been wrong on that. But it's a nice drink. Again, pairs so well with nuts. In addition to the question about the drink, what are your favourite bar snacks? I think of mine. I guess it depends on what you can define as bar snacks. Like, is it just snacks in general? I mean, they could be like different bar snacks for different places in the world. In the UK, at least to my knowledge, it's not a massive variety, but I could give a few examples. So there's obviously nuts, different kinds of nuts like dry roasted, honey roasted, salted, or a whole bunch of different flavoured nuts, but nuts nonetheless, which are just peanuts. There's pork scratchings, which are like, I guess they're like deep fried rimes of fat from pork, from pig. They're like crunchy and crispy, but they're basically like deep fried fat. From my knowledge, anyway, I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what they are. I used to really love pork scratchings until I bought a packet one day. Now, if you do not want to be disgusted, I suggest you skip forward like 30 seconds or so. So the last time I had pork scratchings, more or less, I bought a packet of them from a shop, and I opened them up, looked on the inside, pulled one out, and I could see like the skin indentations on the scratching, and there was a single hair coming out of it, and I never touched them again. I'm pretty sure I might have had them once afterwards. But yeah, never had them after that. Welcome back, anyone who skipped forward. So, yeah, not a fan of pork scratchings anymore. The other things you might find would be like crisps or chips, for American viewers. Still my most popular viewership. Yeah, so like crisps, usually there will be like some obscure brand, often like a beer company or a brewery will have like a sort of like crisp brand as well, and you can find those at bars, so that you wouldn't usually find like Walkers / Lays. So in the UK it's Walkers, not Lays. is different for whatever reason. And yeah, you wouldn't find stuff like that. But you would find some other brands, maybe kettle chips or crisps. They might be there, but it doesn't really matter. It's usually crisps, mostly ready salted, salt and vinegar, maybe cheese and onion. You'd be lucky, I think. The flavour is inconsequential, but usually like crisps. And then sometimes you'll find what's called, now when I say fish and chips, I don't mean fish and chips. So there's these sort of crisp, it's like almost a mix between a pork scratching and crisps. They're not pork scratchings and they're not crisps, but they are crisps. It's hard to really describe. It's almost like puffy crisps, almost like quavers, or I'm trying to think of an equivalent, like think of like Cheetos, but they're hard, so it's not like soft. It's not that soft, like it's that like a much more crunchier texture. But they're shaped like little fish, but they're just crisps, I guess. But they're slightly different, and they're in a packet that looks like it's fish and chips. Very, very strange. I'm English and I think that it's weird. They do taste alright though. Any other parsnips? Pretzels. You'd find pretzels as well. They're more rare, I would say. And I guess on a rare occasion you might find jerky of some kind, like beef jerky. But that is very uncommon. I would say beef jerky is much less purchased in the UK than maybe the States, I guess. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty confident. But we do have things like beef jerky here, but it's not the same. And it's all like packaged stuff. I'm trying to remember the brand. That's often one of the only brands. For the Americans watching, do you like your beef jerky? Is that like is that sort of like branded in packaging? Or I don't know how else to describe it. Like, if you were going to go and buy beef jerky, what's your process? Because mine would be, I'd go to a shop. The chances are they probably don't have it. If they do, it's like it's some sort of obscure location, probably at the end of an aisle on a little rack. There'd be like a handful of brands if I'm lucky, and it's very clearly very processed stuff. Like it's not. It's obviously meat, but like at the same time, it's very clearly like heavily processed. Or it's gone through like a whole bunch of processes. Yeah. So, curious what your take on that would be. We're nearly done with the drink because we're pushing on with time. Damn, this is going to be nearly a fucking special length. I didn't intend it to be this long. It's because I ramble. To be fair, I am drinking like a full bottle. It's not like a small one. If it was, we would have been done about half hour ago. But with that, that's going to wrap us up. As I finish the drink. So before we leave, another look. Straporamen. I always call it Straporamen, like when I'm not actually thinking of the name. I say Straporamen, but it's Straporamen or Straporamen. I don't know. I want to say with like a more like a sort of German-esque accent, but there you go. So I actually really enjoyed this. I think probably without the parsnips, it would be quite hoppy, and maybe a little bit more difficult to drink in a short term, and it could quickly become overwhelming. That said, this on draft, I think I'd be alright. But I can imagine like the hop nature of it. I might not want to drink it all night, whereas there are other drinks where I think I could like happily drink it for more than just like an hour. So that is Straporamen. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a little like, I'd appreciate it. Maybe subscribe because I do these regularly. I'm always looking for new drinks to try. At the moment I've only done beers and like one energy drink, I think. But yeah, mostly beers. But I am like wanting to branch out into other things, energy drinks, spirits as well, maybe. So if you have any drink suggestions or recommendations, feel free to drop them below. Let me know. And of course, if you subscribe, you'll be able to be notified of that. If you hit that bell, oh, what a term to use these days. I feel like it's just so commonly said now, it's second nature for most people. But yeah, the little bell icon, if you click it, you'll get notified when I upload, which is every day.